Now let's start this off with a little quiz. What is the most effective form of birth control? How about you in the back there? The birth control pill? No, sorry. You in the front? No, it's not the IUD either. Actually, the most effective form of birth control is abstinence, and it's really the only 100% surefire way to prevent pregnancy and STIs. A lot of you might be thinking, but it's no fun. Well, abstinence is the right choice for some people, and there are other ways to experience sexual pleasure, even if you decide not to engage in actual intercourse. I'll get into some of those later, but first I want to talk a little bit about abstinence and abstinence-only sex education. When choosing a form of birth control, there are a lot of things you need to consider, and one of them is what kind of effectiveness rate you expect. Since the only one that is 100% is abstinence, if you still do want to have sex, you might have to make a bit of a compromise. If you're someone who is absolutely not willing to have an abortion and absolutely not willing to have children, abstinence is the right choice for you, at this time at least. But for those of you who, in the event of an unexpected pregnancy, would be willing to go through with having the child and either keeping it or putting it up for adoption, or perhaps going the route of abortion, there are many, many options that you consider, and I'll get onto those in later videos. But talking about abstinence, abstinence is a really good idea for people who aren't ready for sex yet. You need to make sure that you're ready before you start having sex, both emotionally and physically. Physically being having reached the age of puberty, and emotionally, that varies from person to person, and it's really a personal choice. I can't really tell you if abstinence is right for you. That's something that you need to think about and decide for yourself. Since abstinence is the safest and most effective form of birth control, it should be encouraged. Abstinence-only sex education takes this idea to an extreme, though, portraying abstinence as the only acceptable form of birth control, discouraging sex before marriage, and either omitting all information about other forms of birth control or reporting only the negative side effects and failure rates. This is a problem because, as we all know, kids will be kids, and they are going to eventually go out and have sex. When they do, they need to be educated about how to protect themselves from STIs, pregnancy, and possible emotional issues later on if they're not happy with their decision to have sex or not happy with the way that it turned out. Rates of teen pregnancies and sexually transmitted infections are proven to be higher in places that employ abstinence-only sex education, and this is a clear indication of its failure. So, while abstinence should be encouraged as a primary form of birth control, children need to be educated about other forms so that in the event that they do decide to start having sex, they know how to do it properly and how to keep themselves and their partners safe.